I want to talk about Buddy, if that's okay, because I'm already stewed up, and people's talking about last week's podcast when we talked about him being one of the most underrated professional wrestlers of all times. That stands true. I thought our list was very, very solid. For his passing, R.I.P. Buddy, because I'm not going to speak ill of the dead. I do have a couple of stories I'd like to share about Buddy first, and then we'll talk about Barry towards the end of the podcast, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good. Well, okay, so yeah, I put out there that, one of the last things, if you haven't heard last week's episode, go back and fucking listen to it. I thought it was great. I really did. We had a good response from it.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good episode.
Buddy and I, we worked together, and I was always a fan of Buddy Landel's. Always was, always will be. And I love Buddy to death. I really did. So I'm not trying to backtrack or anything. But Buddy and I, we had like a love-hate relationship. That was just one of those things that in the business, we didn't have to be best friends or anything like that. But, we worked together, and Buddy was always pretty damn good to me overall. So him and I do not have any heat. Again, I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, everything was perfect either. But it was a really good working relationship. The first one I'll tell you is why I thought of him this past Saturday. First story was Buddy, I was in Morristown, Tennessee, and we had a 2 out of 3 falls match. And that fucker, we go back and forth, he's pulling my hair and this and that. He used to always say, he used to do my voice, and he could always do his country hick accent. He's pulling my hair. He'd do my voice, but he'd do it his. It is just funny. But one day, I took a powder outside the ring. I can't remember if he threw me out or if I slid out or whatever. But Buddy was standing in the ring, and he said, come on back in here, Bobby. I ain't going to cheat. He's trying to hold the ropes open for him. I mean, it's just a house show down in Morris. Really good crowd. We used to work there once a month, the regular town, so it's really good. And he's yelling at me from the ring, and he's like holding the ropes up. I ain't going to cheat. I ain't going to pull your hair. He's just fucking mocking me, but having a good time with it. He stands back up, and I'm probably like, not even to the ring rope. So I'm about, 6-8 feet outside the ring. And he says something like, I'm not going to cheat again, Bobby. And then he puts his hand behind his back. Of course, I can't see it, but I know what he's probably doing. He's crossing his fingers to where the other fans can see it on that side of the ring, because they're all yelling for me to get back in there on one side, and they're yelling for him to, stop cheating on the other side. It's just one of those good old wrestling shows, good matches. This is back when he was going back and forth for the Smoky Mike heavyweight title. So he says, I ain't going to cheat, Bobby. I swear to God. And I was just about up to the ring apron when he said, I swear to God. And, if you caught Buddy at the right time, there's not a quote, there's not a fucking verse in the Bible what Buddy Landel did not do, or know, rather. I'm sorry, he did not know. He knew them all. And again, Buddy would tell you, has told you, it's still on video. He told you all about his demons. Not out here to dwell on that. We all have demons. We all deal with different things, different ways, etc. So, and we talked about that again a little bit last week. So Buddy was a very religious man. Myself, whatever. So take it with a grain of salt. I'm telling a story. Stick with it. So he says, I swear to God. Well, I jumped back and I said, I'm not getting that ring, Buddy Landel. Lightning's going to strike you dead, man. You swear to God, lightning will strike you dead. Well, of course, I'm saying it out loud, and he's saying it out loud, and the fans catch on, and they start laughing. And they get it because they know Buddy and they know me. And again, it's just a house show, and there's a few hundred people. I mean, it's pretty good packed house show. But when I said that, they knew. I was so sincere in thinking, man, he's up there fucking lying. Not only does his fingers crossed behind his back, which I knew because he's looking at me, but when he said, I swear to God, and those people that knew that, Buddy's a religious person, and those people that knew Buddy had his demons, and those people that knew me, and they knew how I was. And so when he said that, I said, man, you take that back. You take it back. Don't you swear to God. Well, of course, we started working it because the fans called on, because I was dead shooting when I said, lightning's going to strike you dead, Buddy. If you swear to God, I said, I do not want to be around anywhere Buddy Landel's at when lightning strikes me. When you swear to God, because lightning will strike, Buddy. And he wasn't breaking, I wasn't breaking, but we turned it into a funny little thing there. And that's not against anyone out there that believes in God or religion or whatever your take is on that. But it's just one of those funny stories. And we ended up having a match. The only thing about that was I ended up hooking him in a short arm scissor in the second round. It was the best 2 out of 3 matches. And I never forget this. I hooked him in a fucking short arm scissor, and he started fucking yelling and panicking, yelling. And I wasn't like trying to hurt him. I just was holding him down. And he started, let me up, let me up. let me up, let me out of it. And I wasn't, because I knew Buddy. And it's one of those things, about a half work, half shoot as far as doing it with him. But it's one of those things I felt like I had to do to calm him the fuck down. And I did. But I wasn't trying to hurt him. I just had him to where he couldn't move. And he said, let me up, let me up. We're going to work. And I said something like, come on, but let's fucking work. And there's another story where Sadie Scott had to go to Buddy and said, Buddy, if you can't go out there and have a good match with this kid tonight, there's something wrong. Just go out there and have a good match. And we did. We did, man. And so Buddy wanted to work. He wanted to work. But on this night here, he's being real lazy. It's 2 out of 3, whatever. And I got him that short arm scissor. And it was the second fall. And I won the first fall. Maybe that's why I was out of the ring. But anyway, when I let him up, man, he come at me, and it was something or another. And then go home, go home. So, what the fuck, man? I just let you up, But that's just Buddy. So just one of those stories about him that, if you knew him, it's just funny as hell, because the fans, they all really got into it. The other story I want to tell you, it took place here in Ashland. Saturday, I was down at this festival here in downtown Ashland. I just kind of rode down there in the park and walked through, and I saw this guy that actually was at this show, and I almost laughed at him. This is not the guy that got hit, but this guy was sitting beside a guy that we were here in Ashland one time, and we was doing a main event, and this guy, I was already in the ring, and this guy stood up, and so this guy I ran into, I shook his hand, talked to him, had a good laugh with him, but it reminded me of this Buddy Landel story, because he was sitting right next to this other guy. This other guy, he was yelling at Landel. I was in a ring from the time that Buddy was walking out, and the guy had a ringside seat right by the entrance to the way to the ring, and he was just harassing Buddy, and Buddy wasn't in the best of moods. We'd already talked in the back. We had this going on. We had that going on, and it was just going to be a fucking pulling your tooth out kind of thing. Anyways, one of them nights Buddy didn't want to work, but he had to, and it was in my hometown, which it all ended up good because he puts me over. And it turned out to be a really good match, but the way it started off wasn't so smooth. And the guy takes a swipe at him, but he misses him. But Buddy gets up to the ring apron, and as he does, he's about to step through the rope, but a guy comes right across that barricade, which, don't cross the fucking barricade, because you're open game then. Once you come in, and if you step towards that ring and you get in it, you're definitely open fucking game. But anyway, the guy got close enough, and Buddy leaned his head right out the ropes. And when he did, he swatted at Buddy, and his hand brazed across Buddy's face, and Buddy jumped off that ring apron, and he punched this guy right in the fucking chin, and he went down. And I was starting to jump out, I started yelling, come on, Buddy, come on, get the fuck in here. I'm just yelling, get the fuck in here. Leave him alone, because we had a good house. And, man, that guy went down to all fours, and Buddy fucking punted him right in the fucking guts. And it was a perfect punt. It was beautiful. And I started yelling. But the funniest thing was this, the guy I ran into the other. So I saw security coming. They was coming from the left-hand side of us, too. Sandy Scott was one of them, and then another guy. And they just started picking us up. And people was yelling because they just had basically seen us shoot. And this happened within 2 feet of this guy, because he had a ringside seat right beside that guy, but wasn't with him. And he stood up, and he started yelling at Buddy, because he was already standing up, I should say. He started yelling at Buddy, and Buddy said, you want some too? And everyone in the first 3 rows was all standing up anyway. And this guy's probably $150 fucking soaking wet, clean cut guy, just a lifetime wrestling fan. And Buddy got his face and said, you want some too? And without saying a word, now you got to realize there's 60 people. There's 3 rows of 20. This guy's in seat number 2 on the front fucking row, and everyone else is standing up. The other guy's knocked out and being taken the fuck out by security. And Buddy just yelled that out. And when he did, that fucking guy's got as big as saucer. His eyes got as big as saucer. And he set his ass down so quick, went, nope. He did. I was in the ring yelling at him, but I almost started laughing because I knew this guy. And I thought, that's so typical, but of anyone. But yeah, he went, nope. And he sat down. The rest of the fans, like 58 other people still fucking yelling on that side of the ring, get in there, get in there. Of course, we got in there. And then, so as soon as Buddy come through, he started going, get on me, Bobby. And I had to beat him up. I didn't hurt him or anything. I just locked forearms across the chest, forearms across the back, no punches in the face and stuff. But I had to stay on him for the whole match. We had it all worked out to not be a part of that. but it turned out good. And of course, Mark Curtis being a referee, he knew what was going on, and that's my two Buddy stories, and I could go on, and someone suggested, we do a top 10 of Buddy Landel stories. Maybe that's something we do on down the road, Jeremy, but there's just two stories that are kind of personal to me that I want the fans to know that, as much as I may lean on it, Buddy and I had heat, and Buddy fucking complained one time. I fucking did a backslide on him one time for a TV taping, and he fucking went and told Cornette that I hurt his fucking back. I'm like, God damn it, how you fucking get hurt off a backslide? He split off my fucking back. Quit being fucking lazy or whatever. So it's a love-hate relationship. But I'm going to shut up about fucking Buddy unless you have some questions you want to ask me. Feel free to. I'm just kind of keeping my eye on the time. I know we got a time limit today. I know we want to talk about Barry Windham, but feel free to ask me anything about Buddy if you'd like to, and I'll try to fill you.
What I was going to ask you, because I don't want to do anything to tarnish those stories, so I'm going to ask something that's Buddy parallel.
Okay.
And that I don't know if you ever saw the night that Sting wrestled Jeff Hardy, where Jeff Hardy was so fucked up that they had to force in the match. And I was wondering if anytime when you were on the road, did you ever see where a guy got too hammered to wrestle yet still tried to wrestle? It doesn't matter who it is. You don't have to say who it is. Just curious if you ever ran into that.
No, honestly, I don't think I ever did. Using Buddy as a prime example, a couple of nights I worked with Buddy, I know, things were going on in his personal life, but you know what? It never interfered with his ring work, because sometimes he was lazy, but it had nothing to do with that, So I want to defend that right now. Never did I ever see Buddy, and I never saw him in that condition, his own personal demons, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. But as far as anyone else, I'm trying to think of all the places I've been. Man, I don't think I've ever been, not to name names or anything, but, you talk about the different, people that's, supposedly had those kind of matches. I didn't see that Sting match with Hardy he was talking about.
Oh, it's ugly. It's hard to watch, yeah.
You know what? I saw a video of JT Lightning and Jake Roberts. They got into a little thing, but I wasn't at that show personally, so I don't want to, talk about him because from my understanding he's doing really good, and that's been years ago, of course, and that was on video. I went to a show one time in Cleveland. There was a guy that was kind of messed up, but by the time the show would come around, and he was a former WCW star. It wasn't Jake or anyone like that, just someone you wouldn't even think. But no, just a bad day, maybe a bad flight or whatever. But, went back and took a nap, and hours before the show, so way before the performance was to take place. Guys in WCW, there was, there's a lot of things going on back there behind the scenes, but I never saw anyone so messed up or so wasted they couldn't make it to their matches. I saw guys, nodding off or taking a nap. But, man, when you're on a road like that and days at a time and hotels and flights and stuff, but come showtime, come at 7 o'clock or at hour before the show or so, I don't think I ever saw anyone on any basis, whether it be national, international, regional. I just, lucky for me, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I didn't deal with that, because I'm not saying everyone, because obviously it has happened, but I do like to think that everyone that's in the business, no matter what your personal demons are, there's a time that you go to work, and you have to be clean and sober by 6 o'clock or 7 or whatever, and be ready to get your ass out there for whatever shows you're on. So I could probably sit here and talk about it all day until I talk myself into believing I did, but nah, not really. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't recall it. Because if it would have been that ugly, I would have remembered it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
So,
and as I understood, Buddy's problem was more like not being able to get up on time in the morning than it was being fucked up at shows.
Yeah, and that's what a Cornette caught. That was an expensive nap you took there, buddy.
Yeah.
When he was supposed to get that title TV deal coming over, whatever, driving from Atlanta to Charlotte or whatever the deal was. But yeah, and those are things all Buddy admitted to, so it's not like I'm picking on Buddy. Don't think that.
No, I didn't want people thinking I was trying to make an intimation about Buddy Landel. I was just curious if you'd ever seen that.
Like I said, it's all love with Buddy. We we're fans of his, and we put him over on our underrated, and I still put him over. I'd put him over the fucking day. I don't care.
Yeah.
He's generally just, to me, he's a really, really good worker. But yeah, I think that's more his issue. Maybe not even coming to the fucking show, not actually being that way in the ring. I don't know. But there's a lot of that out there, I guess.
And then I
Order Pin Me, Pay Me, Have Boots Will Travel by professional wrestler Bobby Blaze Smedley. Go to Amazon.com and get your copy now. It's a powerful and insightful 5-star memoir available to download or in paperback print edition.
I got lost on the road somewhere. Was it Texas or was it Canada?